Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the push-up. Very common exercise that gets thrown around a lot, and a lot of people try to do them whether they're at home or at a facility themselves. They try to do a regular push-up and they realize that it's quite challenging. And quite often they'll go into a modified position, and we'll show that in a minute. But the most important thing to understand about a push-up is it's actually quite a very challenging exercise. We're asking you, when you do a push-up, if you weigh, for example, 150 pounds, you're asking your body to press 150 pounds. Now, if you were to go grab a dumbbell that was even half that, say 75 pounds, that's going to be pretty challenging to pick up. So don't get frustrated when you're not able to do a regular push-up. Understand that you're going to have to make some modification. Now, the traditional modification you'll see quite often is on the knees. So you're on your knees and you'll go down, you'll do some push-ups. Now, that's a great exercise, but the biggest weakness with a push-up is your core. So a lot of people put the focus on here. The biggest weakness when doing a push-up is actually your core. Now, the reason why that exercise is quite challenging is Chris right now doesn't really have to engage his core. So he can bust out push-ups all day long, and most females will be able to also bust out as many push-ups as they can in this position. Now, that can be reassuring in the beginning. You can stand up. That's reassuring in the beginning, but it's actually never going to get you stronger in the push-up because it's not working the core. So a good way to work on your push-up is to find an elevated surface. Here we're going to use a bench. You can use a chair, you can use the edge of your couch, you can use anything you'd like, but what we're looking for is a nice 45-degree angle. Now, he can go down and do a regular push-up, touch his chest and press up, and all we have to do to make it harder is to lower the surface. So if we were to now try to make this harder, we would just find a little bit lower of a surface. If we wanted to make it harder, we would find a higher surface. But if he pops back down again, you'll notice that in order for him to maintain this plank position, he really has to engage his core. If you were to have a weak core, what would happen is his hips would drop. So all of a sudden he gets kind of into that sagging position and he starts doing an improper push-up. Okay, so with this kind of modified position, this newer modified position, doing it at a 45-degree angle, you still keep that same push-up mechanic, but you really have to engage that core, which is most of the weakness when it comes time to people doing push-ups. So I encourage you to get better at push-ups, but make sure that when you are picking a modification, try not to go down to the traditional kneeling position because that's never going to work on the weakness, the common weakness, which is the core. Try to pick something like this. So that's this week's video tip. We'll be back next week with another one.